The Misadventures of Mayor Mischief. Once upon a time in the bustling town of Pleasantville, there lived a mayor named Mayor Mischief. Mayor Mischief was well known for his mischievous and playful nature, always finding ways to bring smiles to the faces of the townspeople. One sunny morning, Mayor Mischief woke up to a curious sight outside his window. It seemed that overnight, the trees surrounding his house had sprouted brightly colored balloons instead of leaves. Chuckling at this peculiar prank, he decided to embrace it and threw open his window, allowing the breeze to carry him away. Floating through the sky, tied to the balloons, Mayor Mischief giggled with delight as he hovered above the town. As the townspeople gathered below, staring in amazement, Mayor Mischief decided to have some more fun. He began to shower them with confetti and glitter, creating an impromptu parade right there in the streets of Pleasantville. Children laughed and danced, adults joined in, and even the usually grumpy cat named Mr. Whiskers couldn't resist tapping his paws to the festive rhythm. Unbeknownst to Mayor Mischief, one of his colorful balloons had broken free, causing him to descend rapidly towards the ground. As he floated down, he noticed a little girl named Lily, tears streaming down her face. She had lost her favorite toy, Mr. Binky, in the nearby park. Touched by her sadness, Mayor Mischief knew he had to help. Using his mischievous wit, Mayor Mischief came up with a plan. He gathered all the townspeople and divided them into teams, equipped with feather dusters, magnifying glasses, and silly hats. Together, they embarked on a comical search for Mr. Binky. They scoured every inch of the town, turning it upside down in their quest. Along the way, they encountered many obstacles and hilarious mishaps. They mistook a garden gnome for Mr. Binky, only to realize it wasn't wearing a polka-dotted bow tie like Lily had described. They even got tangled in a clothesline while chasing after a runaway squirrel who had mistaken Mr. Binky for an acorn. After hours of searching, Mayor Mischief's team discovered Mr. Binky hidden inside a popcorn stand at the local park. Overwhelmed with joy, Lily ran towards Mayor Mischief, wrapping him in a tight hug. The townspeople erupted into cheers, applauding Mayor Mischief's determination and silliness. From that day forward, Mayor Mischief became a beloved figure in Pleasantville, organizing fun and entertaining events for all ages. Whether it was hosting a giant pillow fight or organizing an annual pie-eating contest, he never failed to bring laughter and joy to the town. And so, the misadventures of Mayor Mischief continued, each day filled with laughter, camaraderie, and the undying belief that a touch of mischief could brighten even the darkest moments. And so, the delightful tale of Pleasantville's beloved Mayor Mischief spread far and wide, inspiring everyone to embrace their inner child and find joy in life's little surprises. The Wacky Adventures of Professor Quirklington. Once upon a time, in the whimsical town of Mirthville, there lived a peculiar fellow named Professor Quirklington. He was known far and wide for his eccentricity, his wildly unkempt hair, and his constant mishaps. Despite his many blunders, the townspeople adored him for his good-hearted nature and unrelenting sense of humor. One sunny morning, as Professor Quirklington strolled through the town square, he spotted a colorful poster pinned on a tree. It announced a talent show, promising laughter and merriment for all ages. Excitement bubbled within the professor, and he hurried back to his laboratory to prepare a truly unforgettable act. Days flew by, and the day of the talent show arrived. The entire town gathered at the grand stage, eagerly awaiting the performances. Professor Quirklington, true to his nature, had crafted a contraption that would catapult him high into the air, performing somersaults and other acrobatics before landing gracefully on a giant inflatable donut. As the professor prepared for his act, wearing a cape adorned with polka dots and a hat that seemed to defy gravity, his loyal assistant, Miss Fizzlepop, scurried around, ensuring everything was in order. She adjusted the contraption, checking each bolt and screw with utmost care. Finally, the moment came. Professor Quirklington stood atop the contraption, ready to be launched into the sky. With a resounding 3, 2, 1, the machine sprang to life, propelling the professor higher and higher. But disaster struck. The contraption malfunctioned mid-air, sending the professor spiraling out of control. The audience gasped, worried for their beloved professor's safety. However, they soon realized that something hilarious was afoot. With each somersault, the professor's cape became entangled in the machine, transforming him into a makeshift human kite. Through the air, he soared, his laughter mingling with the uproarious laughter of the entire town. The professor looped and twirled, his zany acrobatics captivating the audience, turning their initial concern into sheer amusement. Then, as if by magic, the contraption released the professor, and he floated gently down towards the ground. The crowd erupted into thunderous applause, their faces red with laughter and their spirits lifted. Professor Corklington, now covered in grass stains and twigs, bowed deeply, his eyes twinkling with joy. He had unintentionally created the most unforgettable act of the evening. The townspeople heaved with laughter, grateful for the professor's accidental hilarity. And so, from that day forward, Professor Corklington's name became synonymous with laughter and good-natured fun. Whether it was launching himself into the sky or inventing new ways to make everyone smile, the professor's wacky adventures continued to bring joy to the town of Mirthville, reminding them all that life's quirks and mishaps are often the very things that make it worth living. The end. The Unconventional Zoo. Once upon a time, in a small town called Maryville, there was an adventurous boy named Oliver. Oliver had always dreamed of visiting a zoo, but unfortunately, there wasn't one in his town. Determined to bring the joy of a zoo to his fellow townsfolk, Oliver decided to create his very own zoo. Oliver went door to door, asking everyone if they had any unusual or exotic animals that he could borrow for the day. Soon enough, animals of all shapes and sizes started filling up Oliver's backyard. There were monkeys swinging from trees, a giraffe peeking over the fence, and even a mischievous penguin sliding on a makeshift ice rink. Word quickly spread about Oliver's unconventional zoo, and people from neighboring towns started flocking to Maryville to experience the unique zoo for themselves. Families with children, grandparents, and even teenagers eager to see something different made their way to Oliver's backyard. As the crowd grew bigger, Oliver knew he had to take charge and become the best zookeeper he could be. He wore a khaki hat, donned a whistle around his neck, and carried a notepad and pen in his back pocket. Oliver was ready. The first stop on the zoo tour was the Monkey Mansion. The monkeys were full of energy, swinging from branch to branch, and playfully tossing bananas at each other. Oliver, with his friendly and patient nature, taught the visitors a few monkey-friendly tricks, like how to scratch their own backs using long sticks. Next, it was time to visit the giraffe. With a ladder in hand, Oliver helped the visitors take turns feeding the tall and majestic creature. Laughter filled the air as the giraffe reached out with its long neck to snatch snacks, and occasionally stole a visitor's hat in the process. The highlight of the day was the penguin show. Oliver had transformed his backyard into a winter wonderland, complete with a shallow pool for the penguins to swim and slide. To everyone's surprise, the penguins were natural comedians, waddling around and performing their own version of a synchronized swimming routine. Kids and adults alike couldn't stop laughing at their antics. Oliver's unconventional zoo became the talk of the town and the region. People would come from miles away just to experience the joy and laughter it brought. Oliver continued to expand and improve his zoo, adding more animals and attractions over time. Years later, when Oliver grew older, the town of Maryville decided to build a proper zoo in his honor. It became a grand place, attracting millions of visitors from all over the world. Oliver had achieved his lifelong dream of bringing the joy of a zoo to his town, and he couldn't have been happier. And so, the little town of Maryville became famous for having the most unique and entertaining zoo in the world, all thanks to a young boy with a big dream and a backyard full of imagination. The end.